That's in black. Yes, sir. Hey guys, no offense, but right after this game is over, Jet, the most beautiful woman in baseball. I'm gonna lose my girlfriend that I don't even know is a woman. I'll get you when we went to Neil Diamond. Two things. One of them I got a quick nap. And then you said, oh yeah, I'll get you 10 subscribers. You nap too? Okay. Hurry up. I'm late. Check. Semblance. Welcome to LA Press Box, everybody. I'm Aron Gideon, your usual host, and we're really excited about what lie ahead for the Dodgers as they open a 4-game series tonight against the Milwaukee Brewers, the team with, well, they've been right around the team with the best record in baseball until yesterday. And they've actually, through a lot of the season, gone back and forth with the Dodgers for the best record in baseball. They have struggled recently, lost the last couple of games against the San Diego Padres. But this is going to be a major test nonetheless. And they have 4 games coming up at home against these Brewers, after having now recently won 4 out of 5 games. So don't look now, but the Dodgers might be clicking. And one reason is because the starting pitching's been so much better. Partly because of the pitchers that they've acquired, pitchers that have come back from injury, and also, like tonight's profile, a profile in, we'll just say, resurgence a little bit. Roki Sasaki, who struggled during the second quarter, and I used to goof on him a little bit about how he looked a little too emotional, like he was on the verge of tears whenever he gave up a home run, and I was never criticizing him for that. But at the same time, I felt like that's one of the things that would kind of lead him to crumbling under pressure, because he doesn't want to let his team down. But the last few times that Roki Sasaki has pitched, that has not been the case. He's really done a solid job. And so there's definitely great opportunity and definitely better energy around the Dodgers going in tonight's opening game of 4 against the Brewers. So as you can see over my shoulder, Roki Sasaki's record is technically 5-5. He's got an ERA of 4.54. He's got 106 strikeouts to 40 walks, which is pretty solid. And then, of course, you can see just below that, the defense behind him. Freddie Freeman's going to start at first after a really scary and much replayed fall into the opposing team's dugout last night as he was running and looking for a foul ball near first base. And as he was looking up, he just happened to run to the part where there's the steps that go down underground and just disappeared like in a movie. And everybody on both teams kind of panicked and thought he was really seriously hurt. But he came back, finished the inning on defense, and then Dave Roberts wisely took him out of the game just to be safe. And it's great to see that he is in the starting lineup, because we don't take that for granted. Tommy Evans is going to be playing second base. As you can see, Miguel Rojas at shortstop, which is kind of unusual. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Mookie Betts, because Mookie has been the offensive engine, really, that has made the Dodgers go. So I'll see what happens about that and what the story is as far as whether it's a planned rest for Mookie or something we don't know about. I mean, people do get sick, so I'm not saying that's the case, but we'll try to find out and I'll let you know. Kike Hernandez comes back in the game, and we haven't seen him for a couple of games, so he's going to play third. And then Teoscar Hernandez in left field, Andy Pages in center, and Kyle Tucker in right. As usual, I'm sure some of these names that spend some time starting kind of tag teaming in because the Dodgers have so much talent and depth will get slated at the right time late in the game when the Dodgers need an extra hit as a pinch hitter. Defense faces this offense strong at bats and a strong offense across the board. One of the best offenses in baseball, much like the Dodgers. Their average as a team is .251, and that's 6th in baseball. Their on-base percentage is 3rd in baseball. Slugging percentage is 20th. Runs, number 5. Walks, number 2. So really, really strong offense, to say the least. And so when you look at this batting order for tonight, you see Jackson Chourio in left field. He's going to be starting off. In the second spot, it'll be Garrett Mitchell, center field. Third spot, Gary Sanchez. Fourth, Jake Bowers in right field. And as you can see, like we usually highlight and point out with the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, Andy Pages, and Freddie Freeman. Jake is what I would think of as elite and in the top 20 in 3 batting categories, and that's why our command center has them highlighted in yellow. In the 5th spot is Andrew Vaughn. 6th is Christian Yelich, the DH. Then Contreras at catcher, Ortiz at shortstop, and Hamilton brings up the rear at second base. The Dodgers offense faces Shane Drohan. He's 6-4 with a 3.87 ERA, whip of 1.25 with 93 strikeouts and 28 walks. Of course, we just went through the defense for the Brewers behind him. And when you look at the Dodgers offense, as we do routinely, I'll say it again, that they are top 10, if not top 5, in every single batting category. But that challenge, especially during the long losing streak that they just got out of, the longest of the season of 7 games in a row, not so much about having high averages, it's about timing things properly and moving each other along. Once, especially, they find themselves in an inning where the first batter gets on base. It's not about statistics, it's about driving in runs, and they've gradually improved the last few games, and that's one of the reasons, along with better starting pitching, that they are now maybe on the verge of a bit of a roll, but only time will tell. The next 4 games, once again, will go a long way to deciding that. Shohei Ohtani is the DH, and after going 0 for 5 over the course of a game and a half, last night had a 2-run home run, which really jacked up the crowd. And he is still top 20 and elite in every batting category in the league. Second spot is Andy Pages, batting .270 and with 76 RBI. Tommy Edman batting .275, and as we said before, playing second base, an outstanding second baseman at that, will be in the 3rd spot. Freddie Freeman moves back a spot to the cleanup, and he's at .306. Teoscar Hernandez actually moves up a little bit in the batting order. Did not start last night, got a pinch hit. We'll see if his form is a little bit better swinging the bat, because I think he's been very undisciplined and sometimes looks silly chasing balls that are outside of the strike zone that he can't reach. Number 6 will be Miguel Rojas, and it's great to see him starting. You can see he's almost at .290. And I think right now he's earned the right, not just lately this season, but over the course of his career, to be a starter on a regular basis. Kyle Tucker in right field will be in the 7th spot, batting .239. Kike Hernandez is in the 8th spot. He's also doing a good job in terms of batting average, although he's got a pretty small sample size because he just recently returned from injury. And then tonight, Ben Rortvedt gets the start at catcher as he is taking turns with the other catcher that has been recently acquired right before the trade deadline. So everybody's excited to see how the Dodgers continue to respond and whether they are truly getting on a roll. Roki Sasaki is probably as emblematic as anybody on the team. as far as kind of seeing what the temperature and the current state of the team is. And so when he struggled, a lot of times the team has, and when he's done well, so has the team. Although his last start, he did quite well, and the Dodgers, of course, had been struggling up until that point and during that point. So now with about a minute left before the first pitch, and as we can see some fans on a Thursday night in Los Angeles still filling into the stadium, go and get a drink if you don't have one, and your favorite snack, and I am going to go ahead and load the 3D for everybody. I usually have something written like a rib off of. I didn't even but that's I've always been. I spent a lot of time just developing a thing that I can take a look at and make comments on. I'll send you the All right, everybody. A gorgeous day in Los Angeles by all accounts, partly because there's been cloud cover. It's just so hot during the summer. That's one of the reasons I moved from Los Angeles. But still have pride being from there. And Roki Sasaki set to face Choreo. And that's a swing and a miss at an outside pitch. And there's another swing and a miss, and a pitch well placed for a count of 1-2. A splitter that dropped and was right on the outside edge of the strike zone. So Choreo was well advised to swing, but he wasn't close. And that one's low and outside for ball 2, 2-2. And this one's hit right to Tommy Edman, who's standing in the perfect spot as the defense was shifted over to the left because the batter was at the left. And throws to first for the first out. And Roki looks more confident and more aggressive. But it's only been one batter so far. He's going to face the number 2 hitter, Mitchell, now, who's batting .252. And that one catches the outside of the strike zone. And very early here, but it looks a little bit like the movie that we saw from Eric Lauer last night. Good control, hitting the edges of the strike zone. Very tough to bat against. That one misses outside for a ball. And that one is fouled straight down, but in front of home plate. And so technically it's a live ball. The catcher picks it up and Ben tags him out for the second out. So 2 away quickly for Sasaki. So next up is Sanchez, batting .230 with 10 home runs. And Gary takes that one, which is inside and high. Turns away from it. Sanchez is batting .333 over his last 7 games. And he swings and misses at that one. Counts 1-1. Next pitch on the way. Right there, inside the strike zone, 1-1, and Sasaki looking real solid early. Looks really comfortable. Next pitch. This is just low, and the count is even at 2-2. And that pitch, well placed. A little up and inside, but nonetheless on the edge of the strike zone. And Sanchez protecting the plate. Makes contact and fouls it back. That one misses outside, and now the count's full. And that one catches the edge of the strike zone for strike 3. Oh, it's being challenged. And the challenge is correct, and the call overturned. So instead of strike 3, it's a walk. And it's going to bring up Bowers, the 4-hitter. Who's batting .268 and swings and misses at that one. That one hits in the dirt, bounces into the chest of Rortvedt. And good job blocking it, keeping the runner at first base from advancing to second. Next pitch on the way from Sasaki. It's a ground ball to third base, and it gets shoveled underhand to second base for the third out of the inning. So, no runs, no hits, no errors, and we're going to the bottom of the first, and the Dodgers getting their first crack at the Brewers pitching staff. So Shohei Ohtani set to come up for the Dodgers. And Shohei had a big hit last night, 2-run home run after Miguel Rojas doubled. It couldn't have come a moment too soon. The Dodgers needed it to surge ahead. And Ohtani needed it to break a little mini dry spell. As he takes that pitch low and outside for a ball. Next pitch, also outside. The count's 2-0. Make that 3-0. So Ohtani either going to take a pitch or look for the perfect one to drive. And he looks at that one, which was high. It could have been one he could have really stroked, but it's Shohei Ohtani. We trust him, and all he needs is one. And this one he swings, and it's driven really deep, just right of center. And it bangs off the wall, and Shohei is going to be into second base with a double. Wow. And that was not really... They didn't split the gap between center and right. And that's usually what gets to the fence. But he hit that so hard. It was such a rocket that even though it wasn't that far to the left of the center fielder, he couldn't get to it in time. So now Shohei with on second base in scoring position with no outs, and Eddie Pages coming up. And he swings and misses at that one. And the early count to Andy is 0-2. Just joining us and you haven't done it already, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you're rooting for the Dodgers, and a 2 if you're a Brewers fan. Oh, 2 pitch on the way to Pages after Drohan takes a peek at Shohei and misses high and outside for the first ball. And this one is fly to right field. We'll see if Ohtani's going to tag up. He's on the base and not quite deep enough for him to try to do that and go to third. So the Brewers hold him, and there's one away. Next up is Tommy Edman, batting .275. He's been struggling a little bit as of late. Definitely has come back down to earth after the first month rejoining the Dodgers from his ankle rehab, where he was batting close to 400 for a lot of it. First pitch well inside, and he looks at it for the ball. Next pitch. Swings at it, and it's definitely low and out of the strike zone. So 1 out, runner at second. Shohei hit it right to the wall, a banger, past the center fielder. And that one hits the outside corner for a called strike. And the count's 1-2. Edman's a switch hitter, so he's batting from the left side of the plate because he's facing a lefty and it helps him see the ball better. This one, he pops foul to the first base side, but it's out of play. And this pitch misses, and the count's 2-2. See what kind of lead Shohei's getting over there. Second base is the person holding him because versus a guy on the left side of the plate, they're going to shift the defense to the left. That one is barely fouled off by Edman, so he stays alive. Edman has only 3 home runs on the season. Although power is not really his thing. It's the ability to hit from both sides of the plate, make good contact, hit for average, and be fast on the base path. Pitch on the way. Ooh, on the inside corner and called strike 3. And he hesitates thinking, well, maybe that wasn't a strike. But thankfully he doesn't challenge. I hate when we're in the first or second inning and we burn a challenge in a generally meaningless situation, especially when there's no runners on base. So Freddie Freeman up in the 4th spot tonight, usually in 3rd, and last night took a terrible spill into the Royals dugout as he was trying to make a play on a pop foul near first base. And everybody was really worried about Freddie Freeman as he looks at that pitch, and the count is 0-2. I mean, he didn't just go into the dugout. I mean, he fell. He kind of stepped on the first step and then slid and then just disappeared as he grounds this one over to Vaughn, who picks it up, throws it to first for the 3rd out. So Tawny hits a leadoff double, but the Dodgers leave him stranded, not able to do anything with it. In the end of 1, it's the Brewers 0 and the Dodgers 0. So we go to the top of the 2nd. And the man who made the play to end the last at bat, coming up in the 5 spot, Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn's batting .295. And that one misses just inside. And that one catches lower outside corner for strike one, and the count's 1-1. Next pitch bounces in the dirt. Counts 2-1. Vaughn has 5 home runs and 34 RBI. Dodgers and Brewers have been going back and forth for a good chunk of the season for the best record in baseball. That one's even more so in the dirt. And when Sasaki, after he delivered that pitch, there's a little pause here. He came down awkwardly. He had a lot of weight on his left foot. Too much on the outside of his foot, and he kind of tumbled over to the left. Didn't completely fall down, but fortunately he doesn't look hurt. And the next pitch on the way. And that one's lined for a base hit. So Vaughn on base after the hit to a left center field. And the Brewers have their lead batter on, and Yelich coming up in the 6th spot today. Yelich is batting .231 with 8 home runs. That one misses low and inside. You know, and something you got to think about, especially when they get a lead runner on, is, you know, does that guy have speed, and is he going to threaten to steal? Now, the last guy that's up is not the smallest guy, and it looks like he's just to the first cut with his right foot. But neither one of the catchers that we have right now have a real strong arm. I mean, they're okay, but people can steal on us. People with speed can steal on us right now. This one is ground to Freddie Freeman. He throws to Miguel Rojas, who's playing shortstop, and Miguel drops the ball. But the umpire at second base is saying it's after he was able to step on the base and ensure that out. But he dropped it because he was trying to get it out of his glove and turn to throw it back to first base for a double play. So that'll bring up Contreras with 1 out and still a runner at first. That one catches the bottom edge of the strike zone, and this is, I like the look of Sasaki right now. I really do. He seems like he's got good control. He's in a good rhythm. Does not look stressed or strained. And he's dancing around that strike zone in a good way. This pitch is popped up, and it's going to be in the spot between shallow left and center. Caught easily there by Pages, and it's going to be thrown right back in for the second out. So now the 8-hitter, Joey Ortiz. Ortiz batting .241. First pitch, grounded to second. It's kind of in the hole, but Tommy Edman, who was playing over to his right, is able to shuffle left, pick it up, and throw to first for the third out. And Roki Sasaki, looking solid, gave up a hit there, but still no score in this game. And we're going to the bottom of the second. So no score early as Drohan goes back to the mound. And he's about to face Teoscar Hernandez. And it takes the first pitch for a strike. And this one's a curveball that just kind of drops easily into the strike zone for Hernandez. Easy to see, and he makes the pitcher pay by singling it right up the middle for a Dodger opportunity in the second inning. So 2 innings and 2 lead batters on base. So the number 6 hitter, Rojas, who gets the start tonight at shortstop, and that's not his strong suit. I mean, he already flubbed one play, dropped it out of his glove in an attempted double. And he's made other mistakes I've seen in the infield, although he's really solid and reliable at second. If I was going to say his positions he's best at, in the infield, second is the one he's the most efficient and he's the cleanest with. Then third, then shortstop. Doing an absolutely awesome job at the plate with inconsistent opportunities. And he's batting .289. This pitch to Rojas is grounded to shortstop, and Ortiz picks it up, throws the second, and relayed to first for a double play. And the Dodgers continue to struggle with hitting in double plays. In fact, they have done that more than any other team in baseball. So now Kyle Tucker comes up, batting in the 7th spot tonight. And Tucker actually has a higher batting average on the road this year than at home. Same number of games, 57 games, 57 games. And 57 at home, he's only batting .200. On the road, he's batting .275. And he fouls that one to the left and out of play. And the count to Tucker is 1-1. That one is low and outside. And that one misses. And now the count's full, 3-2. Catcher keeps it in front of him, has to go chase it and trade it for a new ball. This 3-2 pitch is fouled to the right side. Grounded to the right of first base. Next pitch on the way, and well outside. And Tucker, you can see how frustrated he is. Swings and misses for strike 3. So at the end of 2, it's the Brewers 0 and the Dodgers 0. All right, Roki Sasaki set to face Hamilton, the 9-hitter, batting .231. And too bad you can't see the sky. The clouds have given way to a gorgeous sunset throughout Southern California. When I say you can't see it, if you don't live in Southern California, you can't see it. And of course, 3D doesn't allow for that. But blue and pink and orange is just gorgeous. Beautiful time of day, just after the sun has gone down. And that pitch is swung on and missed. So the count's 1-2 now to Hamilton. And Sasaki continues to look really good, mixing up his pitches. And that one is fouled to the right, and the count remains 1-2. Now one's fouled to the left and back and out of play. And so Hamilton hanging tough. Infield is shifted to the right, the way that we look at it, because Hamilton's batting on the right, the way that we look at it, although technically he's batting lefty. And this one is grounded to second base. And Edman picks it up, no problem, hardly had to step. Throws to first to Freddie Freeman for the first out of the inning. So Sasaki continuing to be very efficient, and this game is going by relatively quickly. Now the Brewers are back to the top of their lineup with Chourio, who's 0 for 1. That one is swung on. It was in the strike zone, but chopped foul to the left, and the count's 1-1. Next pitch is in there, well placed, high in the strike zone. Wasn't that long ago that the Dodgers were 4 games behind the Brewers for the best record in the National League. They win tonight, they pull even with them all of a sudden. And if the Dodgers win tonight, that'll be suddenly 5 wins in the last 6 games. That one's way in the dirt. I mean, he lost complete control of that one. And he's kind of playing with the mound and trying to get the footing the way he wants it. But that one bounced well in front of the batter's box. Chorial fouls that one back. So it's full count with 1 out, and Sasaki misses low with that one. And he drops his head briefly, but he gets the ball back and kind of just nods like, okay, this is part of what happens with me. I'm going to fight through it. It's just a really subtle improvement from the body language that we saw when he struggled in the second quarter of the season. I think that's something he's learned. Learn how to adjust his mindset when things don't go his way. We'll see how he responds here as Mitchell comes up, who's 0 for 1. And the pitch to Mitchell is flied high to center field. And Andy Pages is going to run back to the warning track and catch it and then instantly throw it in, preventing the runner from tagging and going from first to second. So good job by Andy. He's got a strong arm. He's got good footwork to put himself in a position to be able to throw with strength as soon as he catches the ball, and that's exactly what he did. So Sanchez comes up, who walked his first time. That one misses low for a ball. And Sasaki throws to first. He senses something. The Dodgers pitcher's done a good job of that lately. And there is a steal attempt. And Rortvedt throws down to second. And the tag is in time. Throws him out. Wow, I can't remember the last time I saw that. Maybe a couple of months ago. And it certainly wasn't with this catcher on the roster. So that's really encouraging. Really encouraging. So on the attempted steal but throw out by Rortvedt, 3 away. And we're about to go to the bottom of the third, and we're still scoreless. So Shane Drohan set to face Kike Hernandez, who, if you just saw his mugshot, his player card that we set up, looks very different without his shades. Kike starting at third base instead of Max Muncy. And swings and misses at that one. Kike's batting .286. He and Miguel Rojas, who are not the usual starters in the infield, still each have high batting averages as Kike looks at that one. I think they're both batting .286 exactly. At least respectable averages. I guess technically for the longest time, if you're batting .300, that was the level of success, or that was the measurement of batting success in the majors. Now there's other factors and different ways of looking at it, but he looked at that one for strike three. So Ben Rortvet's coming up, catcher who just threw out a speedy attempt by the Brewers, who have stolen, I think, 120 bases this year. Pitch on the way, and it's flied high just behind second base. Shortstop Ortiz is waving people off and makes the catch in shallow center field. So one time around the lineup for the Dodgers, and now Shohei Ohtani set to come up again. Shohei doubled off the center field wall. And he's batting .294 right now. He had a 2-run home run last night. And that one misses low for ball one. That one, he pulls his head and swings at something outside. And the technique and the location of the ball just did not gel. There was no way he was going to reach it with that swing. Looks at the next pitch right there. It's 1-2 to Ohtani. And the next pitch low and outside, and Ohtani chases. And even though his technique was better on that one, there's just no way he could reach it. So Drohan does a nice job, and another 1-2-3 trip to the mound. And after three, we're still scoreless. So Roki Sasaki coming up and currently holding the Brewers scoreless. He has given up a couple of walks and a couple of hits, but he's had good control tonight. And he's going to face Sanchez with his 46th pitch. And it's in there for a strike, just at the top edge of the strike zone. So good control. Sasaki with a giant glove that's also yellow. That doesn't show up on the 3D. Gets Sanchez swinging and missing at that one, which is definitely a ball, and starts him in a hole 0-2. Sanchez walked the last time. And the next pitch, pretty much in the same spot, but Sanchez doesn't bite this time. Yoshi, aka Yoshinobu Yamamoto, pitches. They're the best pitcher on the Dodgers staff. Although after Blake Snell's outing, I don't know. And of course, now we have Tarek Skubal on the staff. But Sanchez hits that one to center field for a base hit. So Sasaki gives up another base hit, but does not make me nervous. And I really notice the improved body language compared to when things didn't go his way earlier in the season, in the second quarter specifically. So now the 4-hitter Bowers comes up and looks at that pitch, high and outside for a ball. Jake Bowers is batting .268 on the season. Next one misses outside for ball 2. That one's a strike just above the knees. And now the count's 2-1. Couple of highlights, mild highlights so far. Shohei Ohtani with a double his first time up, off the wall. Ben Rortvedt threw out a steal attempt, which is really heartening to see. And the 3-1 pitch is flied high to left field, but it looks like Teoscar Hernandez is going to get under it without any trouble. And he does to make the catch in the first out of the inning. So that brings up Vaughn, who singled his first time up tonight. And as you can see in the top left corner, highlighted in yellow, there's a runner at first base with 1 out. Vaughn's batting .299. Once again, if the Dodgers win this game, quite a turnaround recently, having gone from being 4 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers for the best record in baseball to pulling even with them tonight for, at the minimum, the best record in the National League. And it would make 5 wins out of their last 6 games. What's happening so far with Sasaki is part of the reason for the turnaround. That is Dodgers starters showing good control, not giving up a bunch of runs early. And so far in Sasaki's case, I'm not superstitious, so I'm going to say this, not giving up an early home run. and ideally going deep into the game. But Sasaki walks Vaughn. I think that's his third walk of the game. So with one out, Christian Yelich comes up. And runners at first and second. Opportunity for him and the Brewers. Yelich, a three-time All-Star and the 2018 National League MVP. Actually won the National League batting title twice. So the pitch from Sasaki to Yelich on the way. Yelich hits it into left field for a base hit, and Sanchez is going to hold up at third. And now the bases are loaded, and Sasaki facing his first real challenge, even though he's had runners on base before this. Bases loaded with one out is a different level. And they're going to have a conference. Can't see the pitching coach come out. Never can. Or the translator. So if it looks weird in terms of their body position and how far away they are from each other, it's because there's two ghosts standing there in the real world. And William Contreras is coming up with a golden opportunity for the Brewers. Strike first. Contreras is 0 for 1. And he's batting .259. Sasaki looks over and delivers, and the first pitch is flied high, but back and out of play for strike one. Ortiz is on deck. Next pitch. Swung on and missed. So 0-2 now. Sasaki's got a little bit of breathing room, trying to make Contreras chase, who should be trying to protect the plate, but at the same time doesn't want to hit into a double play. And that one misses low. Contreras doesn't bite. So we got to try to throw him some other kind of bait. And this one is swung on and missed. So strike three, and Roki Sasaki's first strikeout of the game, even though it's the top of the fourth. So that was much needed, and that definitely takes some pressure off, because now, as they commonly say in baseball, any base. The ball's hit anywhere in the infield, you can go to the closest base to get the third out and escape with 2 outs and bases loaded. That one is a check swing, and Rortvedt checks with the first base umpire, and he said no, he did not go. And the next pitch is well low. Now the count's 2-0. So Sasaki running out of rope here. Next pitch. This is high. And now Sasaki's he's under the gun. 3-0. And Ortiz knows that Sasaki has to throw a strike, and if he doesn't, he's going to walk home the first run of the game. And that one misses. So 4 straight balls from Roki Sasaki. And he walks home the first run of the inning. And the Brewers with the first run in the game. Now the lefty Hamilton's coming up, who's 0 for 1. He's batting .230 on the season. And that pitch misses outside, and now 5 straight balls from Roki Sasaki. And wow, the next one misses. That's 6 straight balls. Rortvedt comes up there to kind of take a pause and talk. They both are going to cover their mouths with their gloves. Because, of course, people can read lips, especially in the modern age, with cameras zooming in. It can get relayed very quickly to the batter. Hopefully, Rortvedt's saying something to the effect of, dude, just throw a strike. Make him make a play. So, we'll see if he puts it in the strike zone after 6 straight balls. And that one catches the inside edge for a strike. So the count's 2-1. You know, I'm hesitant to say just throw a fastball down the pipe because when he does that, people usually take it for a ride. Whoa, that one's, wow. That one's way outside for a ball, and the count's 3-1. And things have turned for Roki Sasaki as he throws ball 4 again. So he's walked 3 batters this inning. Now he's got the look of despair back on his face. And I get it, I understand. Because he's now walked home 2 straight runs. And now Churio's up for his 3rd time. It's 0 for 1, and he walked. And that one catches the strike zone, so the count's 0-1. But Dave Roberts is kind of in a hard spot because if he just panics and brings in a relief pitcher, well, they've had a lot of heavy lifting they've had to do while the starters have struggled, and that one's fouled back. But at the same time, they're through a little bit of a meat grinder in their schedule right now. Because they've been playing every day for the last week, and they don't get a day off again for another week. So the 2-strike pitch to Churio swung on a miss for strike 3. So a really important strikeout for Roki Sasaki. And the Brewers score 2 in that inning, but the Dodgers also have to be able to generate runs, well more than 2. If they can't do that, they won't deserve to win. So I kind of agree. It's unusual for me, but I agree with Dave Roberts keeping Sasaki in for now, especially because up until this inning, he's looked pretty good. Let him fight through it. Don't panic. And the Dodgers offense has to get untracked. So we're going to go to the bottom of the inning, but now it's the Brewers 2 and the Dodgers 0. Let's see how many walks he's had so far. 5. He has 5 bases on balls. He's got 2 strikeouts, 2 Ks. Hasn't given up a home run. But if you look at the Dodgers lineup, not as many times through the batting order so far, but one hit from Shohei and one hit from Teoscar, and that's it. So Drohan goes back up to the mound. So far, obviously, keeping the Dodgers in check. And Andy Pages is one of those Dodgers who doesn't have a hit yet. He's 0 for 1 with a flyout. And his average ticks down a point to 269. He has 19 home runs on the season. And that one misses low for a ball, 1-1. Drohan has 43 pitches so far, as that one misses high. It's 2-1. That one's well outside. It's 3-1. Three-one pitch on the way to Pages. Grounds it to third. It's going to be a long throw after backhanding it, but he does it in time. And one away. So that'll bring up Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman playing second base. Miguel Rojas playing short, giving Mookie, for the time being at least, the night off. And Kike Hernandez playing third, giving Max Muncy a break. So facing a lefty, Tommy's going to bat right. And that one misses. And this one's grounded to third. And the throw to first is off target. So the Dodgers fortunately get an error after the throw is well to the left of the first baseman, who jumped and had no chance to keep his foot on the base, but it also rolled past him. And they're kind of lucky that Tommy Edman was not able to take another base. So Freddie Freeman comes up, who's playing after a really scary spill into the opposing dugout last night, trying to catch a foul. And that one he blasts to deep right. Could this be the first home run in a really long time? No, Bowers catches it just short of the wall. Oh boy, it has been a long time since we saw Freddie Freeman hit a home run, but that is not the one to break the dry spell, even though he's been getting hits on a regular basis. And because Tommy Edman wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen, he did not tag up. I don't know if he felt like he could have if he knew that that ball was going to be caught. And so he stuck at first with 2 outs. And Teoscar Hernandez is up. Teo singled his first time. And swings and misses at that one high. Pitch on the way. And it's grounded to shortstop. backhanded and thrown to first. And this one's also off the base, but Sanchez is able to grab the ball in time, spin around, and tag Teo for the third out of the inning. So Dodgers not able to capitalize on some poor defensive throws to first. At the end of 4, they're still scoreless. Brewers 2, Dodgers 0. No, I didn't see the Field of Dreams game. Sounds cool. Phillies have they got some sticks in their lineup. They got some power. Schwarber's one of them. I don't know what Freddie Freeman's doing over here at first base. Looks like he's got a broken arm, which is one of the things that it could have easily happened last night when he fell into the opposing dugout. That was, oof, man. It's a relief to see that he was okay. So Roki Sasaki, after giving up 5 walks so far in the first 4 innings, walking home 2 runs last inning with bases loaded, gets set to try to reset himself. It looked very good up until that point. First pitch misses outside. That one's a swing and a miss on a pitch placed well at the high point of the strike zone. And Mitchell's 0 for 2, hoping to get his first hit of the night. Oh, that's super cool. Super cool, Alaska. That one misses outside. It's ball 3. Sasaki needs to just stop walking people, dude. Alaska, who won that game? And that one, oh boy, that was close. That was almost the ball. We'll never know if it would have been called a ball because Mitchell swung and missed at that. Nobody warming up in the Dodgers bullpen. So full count to Mitchell. And Sasaki gets him to pop up foul to the left side. The defense is shifted way over, but Kike Hernandez has such speed, he's able to get all the way back across the field and make that catch for the first out of the inning. Phillies won? Oh, good. Stepfather would probably be happy to know that. He's from Philly. So now the 3-hitter, Sanchez, is coming up. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. Not only did he single, but he scored a run. And he did it by just standing on the base, letting Sasaki walk him home. Early count to Sanchez is 1-1. Game going pretty quickly, and that's usually the case when you have 2 efficient pitchers. That one misses, and the count's 1-2. Pitch from Sasaki to Sanchez. On the way. And grounded to third base. Kike Hernandez dives into foul territory after the ball crosses fair past third base. Then gets to his knees and throws it all the way across the diamond to Freddie Freeman, who naturally gets pulled off the base a little bit, but is still able to catch the ball and tag the runner out. Wow, what a defensive play that was. Great job, Kike. And Sasaki gives him the applause, the hand to the big, giant yellow glove. That is, you have no idea how hard that is to do. Just to be on your knees and throw it that far and have it not bounce is super hard. And you'd have to throw it, most people would have to throw it super high into the air just for it to arrive over there, let alone a line drive. In this case, Bowers chops it to short. Miguel Rojas charges the ball and does a nice job pressing the issue, getting the ball and throwing to Freddie Freeman for the third out. So the game keeps clicking along, and we're going to go to the bottom of the fifth. The game's already half over, but the Dodgers still haven't scored. It's the Brewers 2 and LA 0. Oh, yeah, that's a Charlie. So Miguel Rojas comes up, who's 0 for 1, batting .287 though. Rohan is doing a really good job against the Dodgers. Alaska, did you say you're a 49ers fan? That would make sense, since you're in Northern California. Two on to Rojas, who's coming back to reset. Rojas against left-handed pitchers like Drohan is averaging .327. So that pitch misses outside. You're already marking your calendar. It's almost a certainty, Alaska, that I'm going to be broadcasting that 49ers versus Rams game. And I like the 49ers, but they're going to get all the shade. Rams all the way. As Miguel Rojas walks. So, the Dodgers have an opportunity here with Kyle Tucker coming up, who's 0 for 1. Nobody out with a runner at first. And looks at that pitch, well low for ball 1. I don't want to get off track with football, but I still haven't completely processed that loss that the Rams had to the Seahawks in the playoffs. The Rams were a tougher challenge for them than the Super Bowl. And one reason that they lost to the Seahawks is because there was that fluky play where everybody quit on defense. You always coach. I've always coached. All the other coaches say play the whole play until the refs blow the whistle and call it dead. As Tucker chops and gets tagged for the first out of the inning. But it becomes like a bunt, effectively, pushing Miguel Rojas to second base. And so now with only one out, Kike Hernandez comes up with a runner in scoring position. But yeah, then Zach Charbonnet, another Bruin, I can't be completely upset about that, picks up the ball and plays the whole play and basically just walks into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. And that was as big a play as there was in the entire game, in the final outcome and the final score. And that one's fouled off by Kike and out of play. And this one is a breaking ball that moves from the strike zone below the strike zone. Kike strikes out. So just like that, 2 outs. This is one of the things the Dodgers have struggled with from time to time, leaving runners in scoring position on base and not bringing them home. And with the catcher, Ben Rortvedt, coming up, they're at risk of doing just that. That first one catches the strike zone. Shohei Ohtani on deck. Outside for a ball, and the count's 1-1. And the pitch, line to left over the jumping glove of the third baseman. They're going to send home Miguel Rojas, not the fastest guy. And the ball is there in time, but the ball gets knocked out of the catcher's glove. And he's safe for the first run on the Dodgers side of the ledger. Wow. I don't know how that ball came out because it seemed to come out pretty late from his glove. Didn't look initially like it just bounced out like he flubbed it. Like maybe there was contact that knocked it out of the glove as a result of Rojas, who's not a small human, using physics to his advantage as he had a headfirst slide into home plate. So now the score is 2-1. And Rortvedt's on first and Shohei Ohtani. And this one's fly to left field. It's shallow, but 3 defenders all converging on the ball. And it looks like a bunch of drunk sailors at somebody's wedding, but they finally communicate, and Chourio makes the catch. So the Dodgers at least narrow the lead to 1. And at the end of 5, the score is 2-1. And Roki Sasaki once again going to the mound. And as I said earlier, I agreed with Dave Roberts for a change. And what I agreed about was not making a change. Because even though Sasaki had an inning where he really struggled with his control and walked home 2 runs. He had pitched well to that point. There's no reason for him to get back on the saddle, so to speak, and that's what he's done since. Plus, it's only 2 runs. The Dodgers need to be able to score more than 2 runs to win a game. And the 5-hitter Vaughn comes up to face him, who's 1 for 1. But Sasaki's head early to him with a count of 0-2. That one misses low for a ball. Pitch to Andrew Vaughn is lined into right field for a base hit. So Tucker collects it and throws it in immediately. So nobody out. Lead batter on. Top of the 6th. And it's the Brewers 2 and the Dodgers 1. And other than 1 inning, although he's given up a few other walks, I think 5 total in the game and a couple of hits, Saki's had a pretty solid outing. And part of what is solid to me is just watching his body language when things don't go his way, watching his expression on his face, watching whether he slumps over when things don't go well. You know, a little bit of the Meeper face, as I would call it, came back, just a little bit, when that inning hit him. Because he cares. The Meeper face is a little bit of a... This is what we call it when my kids were growing up. If you ever watched the Muppet Show, it's those guys with the big bottom lips that seem to curl up to their nose. He's back to being comfortable, and it looks like now the Dodgers do feel comfortable in the top of the 6th, having somebody warm up and get ready to relieve Roki Sasaki. Ideally, it would be next inning, but Jack Dreyer is getting warm. No outs and a runner on with Christian Yelich at the plate, who's always dangerous. And this one is grounded to shortstop, and Miguel Rojas, playing short in place of Mookie Betts, is in the perfect spot, picks it up, steps on second base, then throws to first for two. So much needed double play for the Dodgers. And just like that, there's two away, and Contreras comes up. First pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. And this one, driven deep to left center. Andy Pages rolls over his right shoulder like a defensive back, going deep, deep, and making a play on a deep ball. But in this case, it's a baseball, and he makes the catch. I've said this before. The guy could play he could play football, not just baseball. He has some really good instincts. He knows exactly where the ball is going to land, and he takes an angle to that very cleanly and very immediately. And he's very fluid. He's able to turn his hips and turn his shoulders to get going in that direction very quickly. So after that catch, 3 away, and we're going to the bottom of the 6th with the score Brewers 2 and the Dodgers 1. Well, that's what we always say. So Andy Pages comes up, and it's pretty good lift on the ball, but not quite far enough, and flies to right center. And 1 away, leading to Tommy Edman coming up, who's 0 for 2. And he's officially struggled the last few weeks. And That one is called a ball, and the catcher challenges with nobody on base. And Tommy Edman not batting particularly well, and he ends up burning that challenge because he was incorrect. So now the Brewers have only one challenge the rest of the game. That one misses low for a ball. And so the count's 2-0. Out well inside and low. Make it 3-0. And make that ball 4. So Freddie Freeman set to come up. Who knows? Based on the last at bat, he might be on the verge of a home run. Because it's been weeks, several weeks since he's hit a home run. He's kind of been on a roll, just making contact to get base hits. Often going the other way into left center field. So it'll be a matchup of lefty on lefty. Edman's fast enough to steal. Let's see what his lead looks like. Just to the edge of the cut. And Freeman takes that pitch for a strike. And that one catches the strike zone. 0-2 to Freeman. Oscar Hernandez on deck, who has a hit tonight. Fouled off barely. So Freddie stays alive. With one out and a runner at first. Since the 4th of July in 32 games, Freddie Freeman has the best batting average in baseball at .339. Pitch missed for a ball, and it counts 1-2. Freddie that chops that one foul, short and left of third base, and the count remains the same. Rowan's now in the 80s in terms of pitch count. And that pitch is definitely out of the strike zone, but Freddie with the mentality that he wants to protect the plate with 2 strikes. And looks at that one well outside to even the count, 2-2. Pitch on the way, and Tommy Edman is booking it. Boy, he's fast. For a guy that had to have surgery on his ankle after the World Series and missed a big chunk of the early part of this season, that guy is rolling. Edman with the stolen base. And a full count to Freddie Freeman. And that pitch is called a strike, and he immediately taps his helmet to challenge it. And the challenge is successful. And I'm good with him challenging that. One, because this is a crucial part of the game where every out matters as we get to the last third of this game all of a sudden. And a runner in scoring position now, thanks to Tommy Edman stealing it, but also because it's Freddie Freeman. And that's one of the few guys that I would give the green light to. Future Hall of Famer with well over 2,500 hits. And we're going to have a brief timeout and come back. So as you saw, Antonio Sensatella comes in relief. That'll be it for Drowan. And definitely the biggest moment of this ball game. Only one out, runners at first and second. And Teoscar Hernandez set to come up, who already has one hit tonight. Sensatella has an ERA of 3.90. And Max Muncy looks to be getting loose on deck. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in for Kike Hernandez, who struggled hitting tonight. Made a great play on defense. But Max Muncy is, as of right now, more dangerous bat on behalf of the Dodgers. Early count to Teo is 1-1. This pitch, big swing. Teo is definitely swinging for the fences and trying to send that one out of the ballpark if he could. Last thing the Dodgers want to do at this point is hit into a double play. Golden opportunity to tie the game up. And that one is chopped foul to the left of third base. And Teo's he's spinning in place when he swings right now. He's trying to generate all of the force necessary to hit a home run. Much the same way somebody that throws the discus in the Olympics does that kind of body language and that principle. So far, all he's managed to do is foul some pitches off. And that's the thing I don't like about how he bats. The most disciplined and efficient batters don't try to force things. Especially if the pitcher knows that's your tendency. You're not going to put it where you can do what you're trying to do. As he swings and misses at that one, and now there's two away. He needs to be able to go the other way with the bat and strike it to right field. So Max Muncy's going to come up, who's batting .345 with runners in scoring position, meaning that they're either on second base or third base, since June 3rd. They're going to have a brief conference on the mound before they face Max Muncy. Muncy's really struggled against Sensatella in the past, but Muncy's had a couple of key hits close to this time of the game in the last week at Dodger Stadium. One of the early games against the Royals, I don't know if it was the 6th or the 7th inning, when the Dodgers were down just like this. The bases were loaded, and he cleared them with a double. And then the next night, when it went to extra innings, he scored Shohei Ohtani in the 10th to walk the game off and win it. And this one is driven very deep to the right. He got all over that pitch, but just a little bit early. And it curls foul and out of play. So the count's 1-1 to Muncy. And next pitch misses outside, so the count's 2-1. Next one misses way high. It was 2 feet high, and now the count's 3-1, and Muncy's in control. Definitely a hitter's count. He has 1 pitch to burn. Make sure it's where he wants it to be. Steps out of the box. Gathers himself, comes on back. Sensatella about to deliver the next pitch, which is fouled off, and now the count's full. So both runners will be running. And the pitch to Muncy is blasted to right center. This thing is carrying, and it's going to be a 3-run home run for Max Muncy. He does it again. 3 huge game-turning hits in different games just in the last week at Dodger Stadium. And with that home run, he becomes the all-time leader for home runs hit in Dodger Stadium. He goes 1 above Eric Karros, who's also broadcasting and watching this game, whose son plays in the pros for a different team. And gets all kinds of celebration, gets shoved around in the dugout, gets the sunflower seed shower, as they always do. And now the Dodgers are suddenly up by 2. Man, that home run traveled 426 feet. And it's his 23rd home run this season. Now he's just 1 behind Shohei. And Kyle Tucker's now up, who's 0 for 2. Wow, there was no doubt about that. I mean, he launched it. And we're looking at the Dodgers we're used to seeing as we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. And taking the lead. is something that's great to see if you're a Dodgers fan, but to have a 2-run lead at this point in the game feels that much better. But Sensatella just, I mean, he threw that cheese. It did not move very much. It was right smack dab in the middle of the strike zone. And Max just launched that pitch. And now Tucker grounds out to first for the last out. But fortunately, the damage has been done, and we'll see if it holds up. Now that we are done with 6, and the Dodgers leading 4-2. So, Max Muncy delivers again. And now Jack Dreyer comes in after Roki Sasaki does a solid job. And he's facing the 8-hat hitter, Joey Ortiz. And Ortiz shows bunt and pulls it back. And the count is 0-1. Ortiz 0 for 1, but did walk. And technically got a run batted in. Because when he walked, the bases were loaded. But, I mean, not swinging at balls, you got to get credit for that. And that brought home one of 2 walked runs. That's how the Brewers have scored twice tonight. Both on bases loaded walks from Roki Sasaki, who ended up having 5 walks, I think, total on the night. Pitch from Dreyer to Ortiz is slapped to the right. And that's exactly what I was talking about with Teoscar Hernandez. When they're shifted over, and people shift over just the same way with Teo as the Dodgers are shifted with Ortiz, there's that huge hole to the right. If the ball is thrown to the outside part of the strike zone, that's the side you want to aim it to. That's the side you want to try to hit the ball to. You don't have to blast it because the hole is so big. So now the second baseman, David Hamilton's coming up, who's also 0 for 1, with also a walk and an RBI. Same kind of situation. First pitch misses to Hamilton. And he squares around to try to bunt on the second one, and he bunts it back for a strike. And that's a common thing, unfortunately, that happens in the pros. They don't practice enough bunting. And as professionals, they should be able to get the ball down. The next pitch is way high and wild, and it goes over the head of the catcher, Rortvedt. And so now Hamilton doesn't even have to bunt and sacrifice himself as the runner goes to second. So the count's 2-1 to Hamilton. And he squares around again on the next pitch, and a terrible bunt. Not even close to fair, and it goes back into the stands. Now, people that don't watch baseball a lot don't know this, but the rule is if you bunt, you try to bunt with 2 strikes, and it's a foul, it's an automatic out. So if you're going to try to bunt with 2 strikes, you better get it down, or you better be really good. And that one was a little check swing on a ball that was a little high and inside and did not go. So the count's 3-2, and Dreyer delivers and strikes out Hamilton. So 1 out and a runner still at second in a scoring position. And Jackson Churio comes up, who's 0 for 2. And has walked like I think at least half of the batters have for the Brewers. And unfortunately, because of the wild pitch from Jack Dreyer, the Dodgers are not in position to turn a double play ready. Next pitch, misses. And the next pitch is fly to center, but it's shallow, and Andy Pages is breaking on it, running up and making the catch. And no way the man at second's even going to think about trying to tag up and go to third. So Mitchell comes up, the number 2 hitter, who's 0 for tonight, 0 for 3. Garrett Mitchell is a UCLA Bruin. This is high to Mitchell. And the next one catches the lower part of the strike zone, and the count's evened up. Is peeking at the runner at second, trying to keep him in check as that pitch catches the edge of the strike zone, and now the count's 1-2. The next pitch on the way from Dreyer completely freezes Mitchell for strike 3. Good job responding by Dreyer. And now the Dodgers are only 6 outs away from a victory and pulling even with the Brewers. So Kike Hernandez. Glad to have an opportunity to play. Made a stellar defensive play earlier. But, I mean, there's quite a few really good defenders in the infield for the Dodgers. Really too many of them for them all to start, even though they're all good enough to start. And so it comes down to batting, and that's where he's really struggled since he rejoined the Dodgers from his injury. And I think he's only won for his last 14 at-bats. He strikes out there, make it 15. So Ben Rortvedt comes up, who started the scoring for the Dodgers earlier tonight. And he also threw out an attempted steal at second. And that's not something I was used to Dalton Rushing doing. That one misses a little high and a little inside. Rortvedt asking for time. Got to settle in before this bat gets away from him. Got a visual on the screen showing how the Dodgers after tonight still have 6 days in a row where they have games. We, unlike these multimillionaires, have a life. And baseball is not in. So I will not be broadcasting every single one of those days. And Rortvedt looks at strike 3. So now there's 2 away, and Shohei Ohtani comes back up. Hit a double his first time up, blasted it right up against the fence. 1 for 3 overall in the evening. And no insult to the Brewers, but I'm not seeing clearly why they've had the best record in baseball for the last few weeks. I don't see all-stars, making incredible plays on defense. But, I mean, at the same time, they haven't been terrible. There was an error where they pulled the guy off first base and wasn't able to get Tommy Edman. That one's grounded to second, and they make that play for the third of the inning. And the Brewers are down to their final 6 outs. And the end of 7 brings us to Brewers 2 and Dodgers 4. Now I see it. like you're going out. You don't have to go out like you're up there. And based on that place, that not as big as So Max Muncy not only hits a home run to give the Dodgers the lead, 3-run home run, but he goes into the all-time lead by 1 run for home runs at Dodger Stadium. He is now at 131 home runs lifetime. And Eric Karros is behind him at 130. And Edgardo Enriquez comes in. Love seeing this guy throw fastballs. Some of them go as fast as 103 miles an hour. They don't really get any faster in the pros. And that one almost gets by Sanchez, and it's not even a 100% fastball. It was a 101 mile an hour sinker. Next one, another sinker over 100 miles an hour. But misses inside. And now, this happened the last time you went out there. This communication device is not connecting inside the hat to tell him what pitches they're going to call and make him pitch. Now, it's a relatively new technology, but I've seen that so many times this year where it's like, oh, I can't hear you. Not exactly sure why the home plate umpire walks past the mound to talk to the second base umpire. I don't know if it's a secondary issue, because there'd be no way that the second base umpire should have anything to do with the communication system. However, maybe, and this is an outside guess, if you go back to the old days when they didn't have comm systems, and the catcher wouldn't say anything in the microphone, he would just signal in his crotch. I had to do this as a player, as a catcher. You put your hand in your crotch, and you put down the number of fingers you want to signal a code for the pitches. So if it's like 1 finger down like that, usually that'd be fastball. 2 would be like a curveball. 3 fingers down, I do it like this. That'd be like a changeup. And they do that in Little League, for crying out loud. And one of the things you'd have to do is you'd take your other hand. So if you're a righty, it'd be your left hand with the glove on. You put it outside of your knee to block the view of the other team on in the other dugout, especially the guy on deck, that are trying to peep what the signals are. Sanchez swings and misses for strike 3. But if you can visualize this, the best place to stand and steal signals is at second base, right behind the pitcher, where the camera is for your normal TV broadcasts. In fact, for decades, if you're watching it from home, you could see exactly what the signals were in the catcher's crotch. Didn't mean you knew what they meant, though. And of course, they know that everybody can see on TV. And so they would do something similar to what we would do in football. You would say, okay, so this next time we're out in the field, just like in football, the next time we're on offense, a 3 means this. Last time, a 3 meant something else. To check on research and development department. Maybe they were laughing so hard that they were choking, but it's just a normal choke, so. But no emergency. I don't need to do the Heimlich or CPR. Oh, good. We're okay. We're okay. If R&D goes down, we're in deep trouble. I mean, I've learned things I never expected to learn this season. Background stories on tattoos, the proper names of celebrations, all of that shit, excuse me, all of that stuff that makes LA Press Box unique. So Bowers is up to face Enriquez with 1 out. As you can see, the count is 3-1. All you have to do is look up in our automated command center. And now you know after that pitch that missed that he walks Bauer with 1 out. Brewers have a runner at first. So now Vince Vaughn comes up. I'm just kidding, Vince Vaughn. 5-hitter is 2 for 2 tonight with 2 singles. And a walk and a run. Yes, Charlie, I see you popping your head up behind my computer on the couch. And the pitch in there for a strike. So Vaughn in an early hole. Trying to dig himself out rather than bury him. Let's see how far we can take this silly metaphor. Next pitch misses outside. Counts 1-2. Next pitch is a ball, but they appeal to first because they think the check swing broke the plane of the white line that connects home plate to first base, and they say no, he did not go. And now the count is 2-2. You wonder how they get these lines so straight. They, I don't know if the word is plumb them, I guess, with string. So they anchor them, put them on the ground, and then they use the chalk machine right over top of the string. But the string that connects the edge of first base, the corner of first base, actually goes to the corner, this front corner down here where the baseball, the white baseball is showing. And then they don't mark it all the way to home plate, but that one is flied out. And Dodgers in good shape. It looks like they're going to bring in a relief pitcher, and we'll find out who that is very shortly, thanks to our command center. You're not a watchdog. That's your own thing. right, so the Dodgers bring in Tanner Scott to face the ever-dangerous Christian Yelich. And that one barely misses. And the next one is a check swing, and they say he went. And now the count's evened up, 1-1. So run over here at first with 2 outs. See how big the lead is. I don't think he's going to try to steal. And you know what happens in the game is once they see a catcher throw somebody out that's trying to steal, that becomes a deterrent, you know? Like today we were having a really deep discussion in our staff meeting before the game about guns and how, you know, they serve as a deterrent. And the principle applies. It still applies. So the pitch from Scott on the way to Christian Yelich is flied high into left field, and it's curling into the corner, but Kike Hernandez makes a great catch and rams into the wall. And so 2 outstanding defensive plays in this game, one from third base, and then now one in left field after he gets pushed out there. And 3 away, with the Dodgers now 3 outs away from pulling even in the standings with the Milwaukee Brewers. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Dodgers looking for a little more insurance here, as they have a 2-run lead, 4-2, and the Brewers are down to their last 3 outs. Edwin Diaz is getting warmed up to try to close this game out. And this one's grounded at third, picked up and thrown to first in time for the first out of the inning. So far, Max Muncy, the star of the night. Though Roki Sasaki gets an assist. And Tommy Edman, who's 0 for 2 tonight, now batting .272 as his batting average continues to slide down. Comes up in the 3 spot. Swings and misses at that one. That one misses, and the count's 1-2. And Edman swings at this pitch and completely splinters his bat. It explodes, and the top half of his bat continues with the sharp shard into right field. That could have shanked somebody, but fortunately, everyone ended up being safe. Count is 2-2 to Edman. Looking for his first hit. And this one catches the inside edge of the strike zone. He stands there in a little bit of disbelief and maybe some contemplation, wondering whether he should challenge that. The Dodgers still have, this is unusual for them, 2 challenges left late in the game, but he chooses not to try to use it. And I like that he didn't. Now, Freddie Freeman's coming up, who's also 0 for tonight. First pitch misses outside. And the next pitch is chopped to first base. And they pick it up and step on first base for the 3rd out of the inning. So Aron Gideon is set to come up, saying his prayers, doing his religious, spiritual routine. I want to make sure that I provide enough space to try to characterize that properly. And he looks like he's kind of become the Dodgers' official closer as the lights go on and off to welcome him to the field. Although I will say it's nothing like the guy that they call the Reaper for the Padres. It's a very different experience going to Petco Park than it is Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is very classic. Could be a gorgeous setting, the big bowl. Like Petco is like clean and sleek city. So you have the gas lamp district nearby. I love to go someplace in the gas lamp and then just walk over. It's on the water there. It's just a beautiful setting, and they pull out the bells and whistles to try to entertain the fans, which I appreciate. And so I went to a game not too long ago where the Dodgers played at Petco against the Padres. And when we walked in that night, the Padres were in first place. When we walked out, the Dodgers were in first place. In fact, the Padres were never close again after that. However, when they brought out their reliever, or I should say their closer, at the end, I mean, it was like he was rising from hell. Super cool. They had flames on the big board. I think they had some flames on certain parts of the stadium. I don't know. I was kind of disoriented by the whole thing. It was really flippin' cool. And as much as I tried when I first moved to San Diego County to get behind the Padres, try to be a good local, I just couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't. But I feel for Padres fans. I think they deserve better. I know they deserve better. R&D disagrees, but I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. And Contreras looks at a heater for strike one. That one is swung on and missed. And the count to Contreras is 1-2. He does not look confident against Edwin Diaz. And honestly, so I've said a lot about these sidearm throwers like Diaz and how they can be erratic. But also at the same time, I mean, maybe this is just my bias as a batter. I would have an easier time hitting a sidearm thrower because the height of the ball doesn't change as much as it does from an overhead thrower. But Diaz strikes out Contreras, so 1 down and 2 to go. And it's a great time to be trying to close out the game because this is the tail end of the batting order. Ortiz is number 8. Although he's 1 for 2 tonight. He has a walk, a single, and RBI. I'm having trouble seeing the chat because Charlie keeps pushing my phone further and further from the screen. I think he's saying, I need attention. And Ortiz strokes this into left center for a base hit. So Brewers still alive. They're only behind by 2. And now the next guy up represents the tying run. Don't be digging on the couch. I see your eyeballs. You know you're guilty. So Hamilton comes up and swings and misses. And with 1 out and a runner on. Be nice to end this thing right now with a double play. That one misses for a ball. And that one's inside, but gets Hamilton swinging. So the count's 1-2. Steal is not a threat right now because outs are the premium when you're a team that's behind by 2 runs late in the game. And the count now is 2-2. And this one is stroked, but it's also stroked in the gap to right center. And that's going to bring the runner from first running aggressively all the way around to third. And with the head first slide, he's in there easily. And Diaz is trying to shake it off and look cool, but inside, he's probably anything but. And now they're back to the top of the lineup. This is the opposite of what you wanted to see. You wanted to see him get out the guys at the bottom of the lineup, which are usually the worst batters. And now he's facing the top of the lineup, although Churio is 0 for 3 tonight. So the Dodgers still have a 2-run cushion with runners at the corners and 1 out. And the good thing is, with one out, the fact that there is a runner at first gives them the opportunity to turn a double play. If Diaz can get Chourio to ground the ball and keep it in the infield. And Alex Vesia, whose beard might be, we have to check with R&D, think his beard might be now up to 5 3/4 inches long. What was that? I'm not measuring? No, but no, okay. This is a disagreement we're going to have to take up in a staff meeting, but I think we need to use augmented reality like people can with furniture. So if you've ever been on Amazon, right? You can look at how something fits in your room using a technology called augmented reality. And my fault, I have my fault is one of the many things that I have not done is implemented augmented reality for measuring things like this to give us a truly unique experience to offer to you. And Diaz gives up another single, 3 straight singles and a run. So now they're 1 run away from tying this thing up. I'm not in favor of him being the closer. He could have come out last inning, although I don't know that the result would have been any different if you had flipped the order. And then having Tanner Scott come out as the closer, who was the closer, regardless of what Edwin Diaz's history is. And it does not look like they're pulling him from the game. Ay, ay, ay. Come on, Dave Roberts. Why? This is one of the few games I agreed with you on pitching moves, but didn't last. Couldn't even last 1 full game. Excuse me. So now Garrett Mitchell comes up, who's 0 for 4, but that hasn't meant anything for these other dudes that were 0 for, and now are showing clutch hitting. And Mitchell strikes this one to right field, and Diaz gives up the save. They scored 2 runs, 4 straight hits on this guy. And a player is never going to say, "Coach, take me out." That's on the manager. The manager needs to say, "You know what? He doesn't have his right stuff. It's not good. Time to pull the plug right now." And you left him in too long, Dave Roberts. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. Too slow on the draw once again. And now with runners at first and second, after he's given up 4 straight hits, and he's still in the game. I don't know why he's still in the game. Should have been pulled 2 batters ago. There's only 1 out, and he's trying to keep the Brewers from taking the lead. Challenge on that last pitch. And it's confirmed as a strike, and so the count is 0-2. And that one catches the outside upper corner of the strike zone. Sanchez challenges, but he fails. Sit down. Oh, now Dave Roberts is going to come out and get him. Yikes. Too late, dude. Too late. Yikes. All right, we're tied up. I even have more confidence in Alex Vesia than I do Edwin Diaz. I like Vesia. You know, nobody's perfect. Everybody has their struggles in the pitching staff. But Vesia he's got some grit to him. And he gets Bowers to swing and miss. All right, now's a perfect time, guys, with the score tied. And Bowers misses that one. For us to go to our poll, I'm going to reset this real quick. So 1 in the chat if you think the Dodgers are going to come back and win. 2 if they hold on. 3 if it's going to go to extra innings, which you could easily do now. Or 4 if they're going to lose. Come back, hold on, extra innings, or lose. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one misses. But fortunately, it's the first miss, and it counts as 1 and 2. And this one is struck in the hole between first and second base. Sorry, I'm not laughing because I'm happy. But Vesia gives up the go-ahead run. I think he needs to tighten up the beard. I'm okay with going longer, but that might be some of the weakness. Because when I look at it, and no hate here, because I think I might go longer myself if I could make it work, but it gets unkempt, and there's nothing I can do about it. You know, we all have genetic strengths and weaknesses. But, you know, I can kind of see seams, and I feel like that's kind of symbolic. Like his energy he's splitting apart right now, and so are the Dodgers. I don't know what I'm saying. Yes and no. I agree. And I agree with some of that. That's a whole different conversation. Well, if after this pitch is high to Vaughn, if we end up losing, I guess losing after this in the the next batter round would be a relatively quick death. I won't be suffering for so many innings, let alone extra innings. But needless to say, this is not what I'm hoping for, as that one's fouled back by Vaughn. And the count now is 2-2. But, I mean, Vesia gave up a hit. He did not give up 4 or 5 straight hits. So those runs that are scoring, even now, those are Edwin Diaz's fault. Those are Edwin Diaz's baggage. It goes on his stats, as a matter of fact. That's how baseball works. And they steal second base on us. Wow. This inning is a nightmare for the Dodgers. And the nightmare continues as the next pitch is inside and Vesia walks Vaughn. And with 2 outs, the bases are loaded. And Christian Yelich, who's 1 for 4, comes up. And he has the height and the ability to hit the ball out and score 4 runs in one swing. But, of course, the Dodgers have already given up 3, and they're barely holding on by the skin of their teeth to not give up more right now. So, needless to say, tomorrow before the game, and we may or may not even broadcast tomorrow. Like I said, my schedule's a little bit up in the air about potential travel plans this weekend. But I won't skip the rest of the series. It's just I know I'm going to miss at least 1, maybe 2 of the next 3 games, depending on how that plays out. Tomorrow, it's got to be tomorrow. We're going to have to. It's going to be too late tonight, but tomorrow morning, probably first thing, we'll get the whole staff together and we'll talk about several things. And one of them being like whether anybody on the staff is bad luck. Because there has been some discussion, and I have never believed it, I still don't believe it, that one of our staff members being in proximity to the broadcast has something to do with these outcomes. And I need to just put that to bed. Has nothing to do with that. And Yelich grounds that foul. Counts 2-2. So 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 runners on who will be running when this pitch, actually no, sorry, it's full count. When it's full count, they're automatically going to run. That one misses well outside, and now it's full count. And this one is grounded right behind second base, but Mookie Betts, who's been subbed into the game, is going to get the night off, is able to round that up and throw to first for the 3rd out. So we just completely had the tables flipped. Now the Dodgers are the ones behind the 8 ball and have 3 outs to try to tie up the score at the least. Otherwise, this game's going to be over. We're up on them 4-2. All we can do is get 2 more outs. Give up 3 runs. How about So Mookie Betts comes up, who's been on fire for the Dodgers lately, but has not been in this kind of situation where he gets subbed late and has a pinch hit opportunity. And Mookie making his first plate appearance. Pitch to Mookie, and struck into the outfield, and the entire Dodger Stadium, everybody starts cheering, but I think he's kind of spoiled them the last couple of games, and I don't think that was hit quite even to the warning track. But they were hoping for a dramatic home run. It's all just an out. And now Muncy's coming up, who's also been a hero. Really, the 2 batters that have done the most positive damage on behalf of the Dodgers this week are Mookie and Muncy. And as recently as tonight, Muncy did it again. But, boy, how much more does he have in his back pocket? He lets that one go inside. Does not let it hit him. Which I guess I won't fault. And swings and misses at that one. Counts 1-1. One of the many things we have to talk in our staff meeting about later is, as difficult as it might be to squeeze it into our impending schedule, as Max Muncy swings and misses, especially with football season just about to start, is in addition to baseball and football, how practical it is to squeeze in MMA. The thing about MMA is, and this is part of the charm, it's fast and furious. It is not something that takes a big long time, but this one I'm going to definitely have to rely on R&D for, because I have not watched it as a fan. I've watched it periodically, and that might be a whole separate meeting. And that one bounces in front of home plate. I think it actually clipped home plate and then just bounced straight up in the air. And Max Muncy, I guess trying to be nice, decided to try to round it up. So the count's full now to Muncy with 1 out. And the pitch on the way. Called strike 3. Muncy challenges right now. And, of course, in this situation with 2 outs left to lose the game, I'm fine with him challenging. But what he should have done is swung and tried to protect the plate with 2 strikes. And the challenge is unsuccessful. So the call confirmed. And now, with 1 out left, because of the strikeout by Muncy and the flyout by Mookie Betts, Kyle Tucker comes up. Tucker's 0 for 3 tonight. Home run here, he'd be a big hero with the fans. Swings and misses there. Next pitch called a strike. It's on the lower edge of the strike zone, and Tucker, perhaps in some wishful thinking, even some desperation, decides to challenge this. The call's confirmed. So the umpire beats the batters late in this game. And now Kyle Tucker and the Dodgers are down to their final strike. And kind of a late game collapse, thanks to Edwin Diaz. Dave Roberts, I know you're not listening right now, Caesar, but I will say this to the sky, to the universe. Your mom is right to call him Lame Roberts. Hopefully one of these days you're going to show this broadcast, one of these broadcasts to her. Next pitch on the way to Tucker, and it misses for a ball, and Dodgers still alive with the count 2-2 and 2 outs. And the next pitch on the way to Tucker is lined into right and just not far enough and caught by the right fielder for the third out. And the Dodgers collapse late and lose the opener of this 4-game series to the Milwaukee Brewers. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about in our staff meeting tomorrow. But I'm going to let everyone on the staff have time to recover from this because everybody's disappointed. Charlie's probably the most upset. Right now he's crying into his pillow. And so regardless, I just want to thank everybody who's tuned in tonight. And the final from Dodger Stadium is the Milwaukee Brewers 5 and the Dodgers